Now, there is no doubt about it that With Love, Meghan and the entire trailer that debuted by Netflix a couple of weeks ago truly is by far one of the most universally rejected projects out there by Netflix via the general public that is really pushing back and really speaking volumes against Netflix by sending out emails or unsubscribing to their service. There's a lot of things going on right now with this actual show starring Meghan Markle, Mindy Kaling, and among others. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Meghan Markle right now is that she is in a downward frantic spiral. She is really trying to get things all organized with this show. There's a lot of problems, a lot of in-studio issues going on right now with this series, and the latest has a lot to do with a ratings disaster, an internal ratings disaster for this show, and it really does actually kind of give you a preview of what's about to happen on March 4th if the show truly does even land on that date. Now, what's interesting here has a lot to do with Meghan Markle and her overall reaction, her response toward Netflix after what's been going on with the most recent overall view of the first two episodes of With Love, Meghan. Let's jump into this, shall we? But first things first, one thing about this is that we know that Netflix is getting a lot of flack, they're getting a lot of heat for this show and how they are sticking to their overall, stance by leaving everything with Love, Meghan on the table. They want to keep things going. They want to actually put this thing out there. They don't want to cancel it outright, and that's why a lot of people are really backing off of Netflix. They want nothing to do with them anymore, is what it really boils down to. Now, with the Meghan Markle drama only getting worse with the entire corporate ladder working on With Love, Meghan that has received endless backlash, one major development that is now active involves more to do with the ratings disaster for With Love, Meghan, and Meghan Markle recently reacted and responded. This comes after a sample audience was given the opportunity to take part in a crucial test screening for With Love, Meghan for the first two episodes so far. What threw Meghan Markle into a state of pure panic and outrage involved how these hand-picked sample audience members by the Netflix studio executives that took part in this test screening for the first two episodes of With Love, Meghan was terribly received. Many of the screeners described the series as delivering poor line delivery, subpar acting skills, along with poor editing choices, and the musical choice for the scenes in the first two episodes were best described as abysmal, matching with Meghan Markle's low acting capability in the show's, of course, first two episodes. Now, this recent test screening was described as the first one by Netflix and was considered an emergency move by the board of directors to really get an internal ratings margin for the first two episodes of the show, which were terribly received to the point that Meghan Markle is now in fear truly that this show is more than likely going to end her contract for good without a renewal over at Netflix beyond 2025. This recent screening failure could very well allude to why the board agreed to gather a new editing team or are considering a new team after Meghan Markle made those demands. We talked about that just earlier today. Now, one major aspect that the test screeners pointed out was that there were even editing mistakes in the first two episodes and continuity errors and issues with many of the shots not lining up with previous ones starring Markle. There were even moments where her moments of making food in the show were not considered accurate by some of the test screeners, get this, that come from the food industry to understand its authenticity. All of these recent issues are now sparking serious conversations by Netflix to do some last-minute and quick re-edits and or reshoots for the show, and could potentially delay the series yet again beyond March 4th. So guys, let me say one thing about this. The fact that some of the screeners, some of the sample audience members come from the food industry, I think that's not by any mistake there. I think that was all by design by Netflix. They want to understand that whatever they're doing in this show is going to be as authentic as possible. Now, sure, you always have, people overviewing these projects, but they want sample audience members to really kind of give their 2 cents into a show like this. Now, again, it's not always typical for Netflix to have test screenings for shows. It doesn't really always happen, but this is a very big emergency move by the board of directors and by Greg Peters to really see where they are at internally and what truly looms for March 4th. They want to be able to know if it's just all hype coming from social media when it comes to the backlash, or they really want to know exactly whether it's a success or not before, right? Prematurely. And so far, it's not looking good at all. In fact, it's not looking good, period. And one thing about this is that Meghan Markle is now in pure panic over this. She's really freaking out over the most recent test screening, the first one, I must add, by the way. Another one is looming, and this is where matters get even worse. So let's move on here. So, to top things off, another test screening is set to take place for the next few episodes in the coming weeks to get a further and better idea of where they need to go for the middle of the show. Meghan Markle didn't take this news well at all and is already demanding Netflix executives to redo the test screening with a new sample audience that holds no bias. So she's now claiming that the test screeners had a biased attitude, if you will, toward the show. I guess because some of them are coming from the food industry. You know, that's just lunacy. But Netflix refused Meghan's demands as they need to move on now, and they need to move quickly in order to actually work this actual mess out for the show. Even co-star Mindy Kaling, get this, is in pure panic with Meghan Markle and is now beginning to take her side to demand another screening for the first 2 episodes to get a better and accurate idea from supposed unbiased viewers, chosen for the sample audience. Now, Netflix is now caught up in a web of issues for the show that really could potentially delay the show by another month, maybe even 2. So, look, do I think that this show is going to come out on March 4th? It's still very likely. Do I think it'll get delayed? Who knows at this point? And we know that Netflix doesn't want to delay this thing again. They want to get this thing out there, and they want to get it out now. They want to get it all finished now, I should say. So now they're in a situation where everything was wrapped up, edited, and filmed, and all finished. And out of nowhere, now they have to backtrack. Now they have to fix things. Now they have to reorganize things in this show and potentially reshoot some of those scenes. Which, by the way, I mean, it can be quickly done. I mean, this is not like an actual epic movie with tons of CGI or anything. They can quickly reshoot things here and there, get things spruced up a little bit. But this is the latest example of yet another Meghan Markle failure via Netflix, and just generally speaking, quite frankly, for Meghan Markle when it comes to her acting, when it comes to her overall history in acting. This is not looking good at all. So, again, I think that Greg Peters, obviously, this is not putting him in a good spot at all as well. He is the very individual that was challenging the board of directors for weeks now to really get things straight, to get their heads straight when it comes to With Love Meghan, especially after getting that flood of people from the public really showing their opinion and showing the backlash toward that show. And so I think that come March 4th, you're going to see a lot of issues happening for Netflix. People are growing very tired of studios or corporations supporting Meghan Markle, supporting what she does or says or what she demands behind closed doors and or in the public eye. And that's just where a lot of these studios get things wrong. In this case, Netflix. So overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this growing issue for With Love Meghan below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.